Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more CNSL Season 6. We are starting Group F here today. This group is comprised of all three races, and we have Hyuk, our Zerg player, starting on the left-hand side of New Heartbreak Ridge. Over on the right, we have Shin. This is a player I don't think I've casted before. He is a Chinese Protoss pro gamer, so probably pretty darn strong, has had some pretty good results as of late. The other two players in the group are very strong as well. We have YSC and Fleta. YSC probably overall the strongest player in this group. Maybe you could argue Hyuk, but YSC has done really well for Protoss lately. Certainly has seemed to be one of the stronger Protoss pros out there. And then Fleta, of course, we'll talk more about when we get to him, but he is the only Protoss player to switch to Terran ever in this kind of pro scene. So that he's a very exciting player. I've got my eye on him for sure. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about this. This is the CNSL, the CasterMuse Narak StarLeague Season 6. Absolutely love this tournament. Hope that you guys are as well. I've made a lot of changes, like graphically and things, to try to keep you in touch with exactly where we're at the tournament. A little bit easier to follow, hopefully, with the playlist and everything. Make sure to check them all out, and of course subscribe to the channel. You know, that's it makes me very happy to see that subscriber count grow. Hit those notification buttons. Thank you so much, guys, for following along and helping to keep Brood War alive. You know, that's my plan is to just always have professional Brood War games being released every single day for the rest of my life on this channel. Hopefully. So thank you for following, guys. All right, so taking a look at this map, right? We have Hyuk opening with a quick pool. It looks like this was a 9 pool. He's going to get 6 Zerglings out rather quickly. Shin is going to have to make 2 cannons. This is a very standard back and forth. But one big thing here, guys. This map, New Heartbreak Ridge, and you're going to see him going up here with the probe right now, has mineral patches up here with 0 minerals in them that you can mine out. Okay, and those, if you mine that out, it opens up another path. So the place he put this cannon, we sometimes see people go cannon. The last time that we saw a game on this map, that's how it went down, so that Lings couldn't go around. In this particular case, let's see if there's a drone on the map. Does Hyuk have that idea to send a drone up there? It doesn't look like it yet. Of course, there's the threat of that. It's hard to keep track of every single little thing for Jin. Will he... will he check here again? We'll see, but that is an opportunity for Hyuk where maybe he could end up running around. Either way, Hyuk right now just trying to catch Shin's probe with these Zerglings. Not surprised, honestly, to see a pool first. Like, Hyuk probably values himself as a much stronger player than Shin. I'm not sure if they've played or anything like that. Shin hasn't really taken part in a bunch of Korean tournaments or anything like that. He did try out for the ASL online, but did not do particularly well there, as non-Korean players generally do not. Now, looking over at his side, I mean, this is all very standard. He knows what he's doing, you can tell. Good building placement. Obviously knows he needs the double cannon against a 9 pool. Getting his gas up. There's a Cybernetics core. I'm sure that he will be going into a Stargate afterwards. It would be very exciting if he did not, but that would be very surprising as well. The 6 Zerglings come up. So here's the first problem in this game for Shin. He doesn't have a probe scout on the map anymore. These Zerglings did end up catching it. Which one? There you are. That's our little MVP putting his hands in the air with all his little fingers. He is able to kill off that probe. So there's no info. Like, there could be a 3-hatch Hydra coming. We'll see in a moment from Hyuk. No, we already can see. Yeah, at his 3rd base, he starts his lair. So it's not going to be anything like a 3-hatch Hydra. Maybe he doesn't want to take that risk. I know that sounds kind of silly, right? Like 3-hatch Hydra being a risk. But it is. You know, if your opponent blocks it really well, you are definitely at a deficit, although we've seen Zergs rally back from that pretty damn well, and I think Hyuk could do that. But maybe thinking, you know what, we'll go into a slightly longer game here. I'll go for slightly higher tech, and I feel confident in taking him out in that way. So looking at this wall, by the way, this is not a full wall. Jin is playing a little bit outside the box. If there was like a supermass speedling all in, he would probably just break him easily. Like if Hyuk had done nothing but make speedlings after he killed that probe, with this type of open wall, this is super dangerous to not have a full wall in front of your cannons. Like, he's blocking here, but the surface area you could get upon this first cannon and the Zealots, the cannon would fall very quickly. The Zealots would start to fall, and he could probably get in. But, of course, we see Hyuk's not doing that. Shin doesn't actually know, though. That's the thing. That's why I'm like, ooh. And, like, with this pylon placement, like, let's see, the radius probably goes up to here. So it's actually kind of hard anyways to finish off this wall with the placement that he chose. So maybe he's just like, you know what? That's all right. We'll take this one little risk and have cleaner buildings overall. But as more Zealots pop out, he is going to feel safer. We have the Corsair going across the map right now. Gonna get its scouting done, see the timing of the Spire and everything. He's gonna see the Spire right away. Sees a macro hatcher coming up as well. No gas at this location. Gonna check the main. There's not gonna be any tech over here. And hopefully he'll loop around and check this location as well, that third base spot. But no, instead he is gonna try to dive onto one of these Overlords. He is gonna be able to get that one pretty easily. There's another one hidden up here. He might actually find that, right? Like, the more you play these maps, the more you realize the types of areas Zergs are going to send these to. And I think he's actually maybe going to find it. Yeah, it looks like he will. Maybe not. Maybe not. But, of course, you do have to be careful. When the Scourge come out, if you lose any Corsairs, they can switch into Mutas very quickly and cause a terrible time for you. Looks like that Overlord will get away. I think he just barely missed it vision-wise. Or perhaps his eyes didn't connect, even though he sent that up there. Corsairs going home. Zealots out for Jin, looking for a little bit of pressure here. Hydralisk upgrades have started. As far as an actual army for Hyuk, looks like he has just under 2 groups of Lings, maybe 16 Lings, something like that. A couple Scourge scouting around as well. This is a meaningful probe trap, so he can group that with the Corsairs so that they can stack up and be together. He is getting that +1 Corsair attack as well. This one Scourge just going to chill for a moment. I bet you he'll take care of that. But yeah, it looks like all the Zealots get picked off from Hyuk. So, I mean, this is like a pretty standard opener overall. That is a nice, quick Templar Archives coming up. He does have a couple up here. A couple gateways, so he's going to, you know, probably get a Dark Templar out. I would be surprised if he doesn't make 1 DT as that finishes. Like, I guess he could go directly into High Templars, but yeah, pretty common to pop out a DT quickly here. Now, the Zealots still kind of roaming. They have +1 and they have legs now, so they're going to fight Zerglings so much better at this point. See if he can put any pressure on. These 5 Zealots going to start moving out. They do 2-shot the Zerglings now, so the Zerglings have to be pretty careful. A lot of Overlords in the top left. I was like, what is that up there? The Zerglings go back in front of the base. Obviously, you know, I believe the Scourge did see the Zealots as they ran past. Scourge actually have one of the worst vision radiuses in the game, so sometimes you do miss with scouting Scourge. But they're going to run in, and Hyuk doesn't have that much right here, honestly. These Zealots absolutely destroying the Hydras. This is a good opener from Jin so far. How much damage is he going to get? Oh my god, and now the Corsairs come up. Now imagine if those had been there from the beginning, like how strong that could have been. Turns to take out the Corsairs, but the Zealots are tanking so much damage right now for those Corsairs. Hyuk is going to get supply blocked. Not a great situation for Hyuk in that way, right? Like, look at this, 63 of 61. He has to make Overlords before he can really make anything else right now. He's on the 3 bases. Like, he's getting his upgrades, right? He already has Hydralisk speed. He's getting range. He's getting that +1 missile attacks. But back at home, this is looking pretty clean, honestly. He's getting up to his 8 gates very nicely. Psystorm is almost done. +1 armor almost done. A few more units on the map just to kind of run around and have some presence. And a DT is out, so we'll see what he ends up doing with this. He's gonna try to probably sneak this in at some point, maybe after a move out from Hyuk. Hyuk, in the meantime, getting Lurkers. So Lurker Hydra is going to be the name of the game for him. You know, you can use that very defensively, but I think most oftentimes we see it come up into a position like, let's say this map. If you can contain this area, that becomes so difficult for Protoss to push out, right? They're going to have to utilize Storms, Observers, Dragoons, a lot of gas-heavy things. And if you slow them down enough and they can't get that third base, that third gas up, it becomes a huge problem. So I kind of assume that that's what's going to occur here from Hyuk. You know, again, like he could set up a defensive area here, but it doesn't really lend itself to like a winning strategy because there's no like good fourth base for him to take. It's better to put the containment up here, take a fourth base, and just sit 4 base first 2. That's like that's I think probably what we'll see. I don't want to jump too far ahead trying to intuit what's going to occur, but I think that's going to be a good play going forward. Now 1-1 is done. We did see a single Psystorm. You can notice Hyuk placed everything at least a Psystorm apart. In the meantime, a little group of Zealots and Corsairs still roaming the map. Where is he going to hit with this? DT making his way over towards the bases. Gets in here. Now, he's utilizing these to target down the Hydras and buy some time for the Corsairs to get another supply block. There's a Lurker, but he just doesn't care. He knows he's going to lose these Zealots. They're taking massive damage. But look at that supply block. Once again, 93 of 86. He does end up killing off like a fair amount. Ooh, one very hurt Overlord comes back and saves him from the DT. That could have been amazing. But yeah, Jin has done a great job with another supply block, but don't forget, he's giving up units when he does this. So that was a lot of Zealots dying, but honestly, like, he killed off a fair amount of Hydras in there, so not that bad, I think. But when you start to look at the supply, you see Shin's macro maybe just not quite as good as Hyuk's. The fact that we're already about even in supply, that's not a good thing for Protoss. Like, Zerg is very happy with that type of position. Now, the wall has been destroyed, which is actually okay. Like, I mean, you don't like to lose buildings. Oh my god, the rally is really bad. You don't like to lose buildings, but sometimes you need to kill them off just to get out here and break a contain very efficiently. So he clears those 4 Lurkers pretty darn well. A lot of Lurkers are being morphed on this high ground here. Storm goes down onto the Hydras. Dragoons marching forward here. Very excellent Storms. Holy crap. Kills 3 Lurkers with 2 Storms. Fantastically done. He needs a backup, though. These Lurkers burrowing in the middle of his army. So painful. Another good Storm there. Gets another couple Lurkers. But he's losing a lot of his High Templars, and suddenly this army size is down to just about nothing for Shin. You can see, yeah, again, his macro a little bit off. Like, his micro there was good for a little bit. He took a good engagement. There were some excellent Storms. Maybe didn't micro quite well enough. Maybe didn't macro quite well enough. You know, if he had all of this turned into units, maybe he could have had the reinforcements to push us back. This is not that scary, right? A couple groups of Hydras and a Lurker. You know, numbers change so quickly with a few extra units mixed in. But it looks like Hyuk going forward with the push. I think he's actually won the game at this point. Shin doesn't have anything left. Coming out of the gateways with Dragoons to try to defend. That's never going to be a winning scenario. So Hyuk, I think just based off of pure mechanics, winning this one. GG. Hyuk goes to the winner's match. So we're just going to go ahead and get into the second game here. We have YSC, our Protoss player, going up against Fleta, who is a very, very interesting player that we're going to talk some about here. The map, of course, a new Heartbreak Ridge 2-player map. Definitely some aggressive tendencies occur here from Protoss players. And you can see he's sending that probe very quickly, probably going to steal a gas with a forward gateway. But yeah, this player, Fleta, he won the high school league. So that's actually pretty meaningful. Like, you're pretty darn good because there's a lot of players in South Korea and they're very, very strong. So basically he won, this Terran player won that league as a Protoss player and kind of started entering into the pro scene a little bit. Like, he hasn't been in ASL yet or anything like that, but plays with pro gamers, you know, gets invited to tournaments and plays show matches, plays sponsored matches, things like that. But he switched to Terran. And we've literally never had that before. We've had players switch out of Terran, but we've never had a Protoss player that literally switched into Terran. So he has a very interesting style. And yeah, like, we don't know how good he's going to get or anything like that. But I think, for me personally, he's one of the most exciting up-and-coming players that we have. He's going to have a much different take on Terran versus Protoss, I think, having started as a Protoss player than, you know, anyone else, really. Because it's just, again, hasn't happened before. So we'll see how he ends up doing. I think he's going to have a pretty good idea of how to counter everything that YSC is doing, since he was that Protoss. YSC with this quick offensive gas. That first depot's really weird. I have no idea why that depot's there. It's so far out. Like, it doesn't do anything. It's like in your way. This is a very standard building placement because Marines can run through these two holes and probes and zealots can't follow. But this here just feels like it clogs up the base. I honestly have no idea. I feel like I would only make a depot there, maybe in Terran versus Terran. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be like overcritical about it, but it is weird. Now the SCV down here scouting, he sees that forward gateway. He knows that his zealot's on the way. This is a very quick bunker. And this is one way you can deal with these zealot rushes. You secure your front. They run by it every time. You trying to make me look bad? Are you trying to make me look bad, zealot? Normally, when one Marine goes there, you run by because you know that there's not a second Marine yet. And it takes like 3 Marines with really good micro to beat a zealot. And you have one that's kind of stuck in the bunker. But now he's just allowed 3 Marines to get in there. And when you hit 3 to 4 Marines, you really need 3 zealots if you're going to run by. So I feel like this has already shut down so much of the aggression. I'm very surprised because normally, again, what happens is you run by with the first one. Terran's busy microing like crazy against it in here, and you just kind of run it around. And then a second one comes in and joins because you can run by the bunker and you don't even lose your shields, right? You get like 4 shots, like 24 damage to 60 shields, something like that. But now there's like this beautiful wall. He can't get by there. Now, that being said, the probe is, well, he's mined out the back path. So there is another way in. This SCV being chased by a probe. The probe can beat that SCV with some good micro. Factory coming up for Fleta as well as that command center. No Nexus as of yet, but look at this. It looks like he's scouted that this has been taken out, so now he's got to play more defensively. I feel like he should start Marines immediately. Maybe wall this area. He's bringing more SCVs down. Yeah, being chased a little bit. This is tough. This is a tough situation. He doesn't have any defensive structures back here. That bunker doesn't help to cover anything. Like, you can kind of build a wall. Okay, he's going to bring SCVs, but you're fighting uphill. Oh, I don't know. I don't like this from Fleta. Yeah. This is not looking good. YSC is just crushing right now. Like, that's very good, I think. And look at this. A probe going to sneak by during that. I'm not sure about that move, but okay. The 3 Marines, he actually gets the Dragoon stuck. Dragoon will be able to micro out of there. Some missed shots occurring as well since it was on high ground. Zealot's coming back down to fight once again. He's killed off multiple workers. Going to continue to do so. All right, those Marines. They're pretty hurt. He's still making them. He does have that factory add-on almost done, so when he gets a siege tank, that certainly will help. And we have a second Dragoon now, so 2 Dragoons absolutely dominate 3 Marines, especially with damage on them. Has to pull those back once again. Dude, this is getting a little bit crazy. YSC keeping that pressure on. Fleta having a bit of a hard time. Another Dragoon being rallied. Back at home for YSC. He's going right into Reaver Tech. Right? Yeah, he's got the shuttle. He just started the support bay, which only takes a few seconds to build. And yeah, he's mining fully, whereas Fleta, not mining from his natural at all. Finally surrounds this Dragoon, but you can see these aggressive openers can be very tough for Terran players to stop. Honestly, I'm a little bit confused about the way he tried to battle it up the ramp. That didn't seem like that was going to be a winning situation at any point. Oh, he's going to block it. He's going to block it. There you go. Very nice block. He will kill that off. And finally, he's going to put an end to this pressure. But let's take a look at the position we're in right now. Okay, armory on the way. He does have an engineering bay. There it is. Siege mode is done. He's got the bunker. He's building a turret. Okay, so that's like an... it's a decent turret. But we're going to have Reaver out. More gateways going to be added by YSC as well. YSC, he's not up as many workers as I thought he would be after all that. He's certainly mined a lot more minerals because we weren't mining. We were fighting with SCVs for a long time on the Terran side. But yeah, as the Reaver comes, it's going to be a little bit tricky because he's only got 1 factory. The armory's finishing up, but like, do you try to block it with turrets? Do you try to go Goliath on 1 factory to push it back? Oh, man. This is not a situation I'd want to be in. This was a rough opener here for Fleta. All right, YSC going to go ahead and remove these mineral fields so that he can transfer probes up here. It gets really messy transferring probes if you don't get rid of this. It's like, it's actually really hard. Anywhere you click from, they just get stuck back here. So that's why Protoss players do that. And then normally for Terran, Protoss players mine that out for them. So you don't have to worry about that when you're taking your third. Now, here comes that first Reaver drop. He does have a turret here. He does have a turret here. So the turret placement is solid overall, but as you can see, YSC going to just pick off that first one. He has taken a bit of damage on the Reaver. He does have a single Zealot that's damaged here as well. Flying by everything. Is he going to high ground? High ground, drop a Reaver shot there. Okay, flies in, sees that turret. Nice spotting with the SCV. Fleta's doing a pretty good job so far. I feel like YSC maybe missed his opportunity with that first drop to do a little bit more damage than he did. Speed finishes for the shuttle, so he does fly it out the other side. Another nice turret going down. That was a better block than I thought it would be. That was a pretty solid block on the first Reaver drop. Obviously, with speed out, Reaver's still being made. We are going to see more of those, and they're very good on this map in general. And I've said this before, but first off, this base is not in a corner, so you have more surface area that you can drop into. And almost always on maps where the base is not in a corner, you have a high ground around it rather than the base being on high ground, which means you can't see everywhere. Like a Reaver could pop in and it would be here before you see it. That's why he's floating one building. He might eventually send, like, the barracks right now is watching for infiltration on this side, but once he takes a third base, maybe he'll move it up here, something like that. But in general, Speed Shuttle's extremely strong on this map. So we have range on the way for Goliaths. So he is going to go, well, it's 5 factory. There's the starport. Okay, because I was going to say, this isn't exactly upgrade term, but it kind of is. And he's going 5 factory. Okay, I like it now. I like it now that we see the starport. Because if you're going to do a 5 factory timing push, this is a very tough map for that. There's too many terrain changes where you're going uphill to attack your opponent. On your way over there, the Dragoons and the Reavers are just going to take so many pot shots at you. You're going to miss so many shots against them. Even on flat ground, it can be hard to make a 5 factory work. So on a map like this, not realistic. But upgrade Terran, in general, going to be a good idea for this map. And the 5 factories, in general, is going to be good against Reaver openers, right? Like, you're just going to have more units. You kind of slow down taking your third base. Make sure you have enough. You're not taking too much damage. Now, the Reavers come out and do start to harass. Looks like they're going to pick on some depots here. Yeah, that one's going to go down. Oh, did not need those scarabs. That's okay. Looks like he's going to get one more. Ooh, just out of range there. As you can see, the observer watching everything. All right, flying in, seeing if he has any more damage. The siege tank spread is a bit too strong. You're not going to get anything there. So he does back up. I think we'll probably see him make some more speed shuttles at some point. Maybe not. Like, he's not really doing it. Maybe he just goes like Gateway Man from here. I'm not sure. It could be a good play. Like, if you go Gateway Man after Speed Shuttle Reaver, you get a lot of units, and it can be pretty tough for Terran. You have to macro very cleanly. And push out very cleanly towards your third base. I thought for sure YSC would go for the more shuttle heavy, but I actually, now that I think about some of the games that I've watched him and some of the games I've played against YSC, he does like to mass gateway units after the Reaver. And that's actually very trendy right now for top-level Protoss players as well. It's like you kind of, with that, you slow down their expansion. You force them into a more turtley position with things like Goliaths, with siege tanks, with missile turrets. And then you just make a ton of gateway units, which they just, you know, you want to, if you're being flooded by units, you want to have as many bases as quickly as possible and get a ton of factories up afterwards. And you're just not quite able to do that in this type of scenario. So another base going to be taken here by YSC. He's already made his pylon wall, an additional pylon in there, maybe for some cannons. Defensive cannon there, defensive cannon there. So he's ready just in case any drops come out. You know, he doesn't have vision on the starport, so, you know, sometimes you're going to be able to sneak that in. The shuttle actually sees the dropship. Imagine if he had Goliaths in there. What a pick off that would be. But as soon as he's seen, he just pulls it back. But you can see that the timing of these cannons was basically perfect. Like, that's exactly what Fleta was thinking about, and YSC pre-countered it. So look at the supply differential. We're up 52 supply for YSC. This is what I'm talking about. The Gateway Man style. He's got like 2 full groups of Zealots, almost 2 groups of Dragoons. And Fleta has to push this very carefully. Being down 50 supply at these numbers, you might die to an attack move. We're going to see about that. I don't think he has enough. His positioning is not super, super good. A lot of units left in the main to deal with Reavers. And yeah, this is an incredible push from YSC. The Reavers being dropped off to pick off some of those tanks in the back, deal a lot of damage. And that's going to be game, guys. You're not coming back from this one. Way too much damage. The attack move after a Reaver drop. Classic Protoss versus Terran play. And Fleta being outclassed. GG.